Hey, and welcome to the CGS Biblecast this morning. Glad you have joined me on here. We're going to be talking about King David and King Saul and what all kind of unfolds there. We'll be in 1 Samuel chapter 24, verse 4 and 8. A little bit more reading here this morning, but we'll be okay. A little story time here. Now is your opportunity, David's men whispered to him. Today the Lord is telling you, I will certainly put your enemy into your power to do with as you wish. So David crept forward and cut off a piece of the hem of Saul's robe. But then David's conscience began bothering him because he had cut Saul's robe. He said to his men, the Lord forbid that I should do this to my Lord the king. I shouldn't attack the Lord's anointed one, for the Lord himself has chosen him. So David restrained the men and did not let them kill Saul. After Saul had left the cave and gone away, David came out and shouted after him, my Lord the king. And when Saul looked around, David bowed low before him. So did David do the right thing here, right? What do you think Saul thought whenever he came out? I bet he was kind of panicking a little bit, like, oh no, how did I miss this? And how much did he see while I was in there relieving myself? So anyway, so David is on the run again from crazy King Saul, and they're hiding in this cave with 600 men. Saul's troops were closing in when David's got his lucky break. Saul enters the cave alone, unaware that 601 pairs of eyes were fixed on him. David's men were chomping at the bit to attack, but the seasoned warrior snuck up and merely snipped off a bit of the king's clothing. Clueless to his potential imminent demise, Saul exits the cave unscathed. But here's where we see why God calls David a man after his own heart. David felt terrible after what he had done, but I'm sure everybody else in the cave thought, why in the world do you feel so bad? You should have killed the guy. This guy was hunting him down like an animal. He felt guilty about this, but about this little piece of the robe he cut off. And to me, honestly, it doesn't make sense, but David is a man after God's own heart, okay? There are several great lessons that we can unpack from this event that happens here. But first, we're going to see that David is really good at waiting. See, it's something Saul had trouble with. So that's one of the reasons why Saul entered his great demise, was because Saul didn't know how to wait. But David did, and he knew about God's timing. He waited on God's timing. Although he knew God had anointed him to be future king, he understood that it wasn't his place to take the throne by force. He wanted God to orchestrate the events for him to do so. Can we just pause for a minute? Like, that is very relatable to life, right? If we just let God's timing and let God's control take charge. We don't do that, though. We don't want to wait on God. We want to just dig in and figure things out and move on. And if we can get it done, we're going to do that. But David here understands God's timing, and he understands the benefit of letting God do it his way. So he's good at waiting. The second thing is David understands authority. David refused to kill Saul even when he had the golden opportunity, because he respected God's chosen leader. He understood that God places all authorities over us, and as long as Saul was the king, he would never dishonor Saul because of that. He respected authority. That's difficult if you've ever been in a position like that where your boss is crazy and you think they're trying to kill you. It's real hard to respect authority there and to submit to that authority. But David here knew the value of it, and he really does a good job here. Third, we see that David is really good at forgiving. Saul was out to kill him. There was no restraint from Saul, but David had lots of restraint. He was able to let go of the anger and resentment, despite Saul moments ago searching to kill him. This proved that although we can't control the actions of others, we can control our response. And this was a great show of godliness before his men. David understood that because he's a man of God's own heart. We all should be that. We should all have the Lord's guidance and discernment with us at all time, because we have the Spirit that God sent. Jesus, when he ascended, he said, I'm sending my advocate. I'm sending my helper to be there. He's going to empower you, and you're going to have discernment and wisdom and power. So we've all struggled at time with what God's timing is, submitting to authority and letting go of anger towards those who have wronged us. So apply these powerful lessons to your own life. Be a David, be a man after God's own heart, be a woman after God's own heart. And I think that your life is going to be so blessed, because those that understand authority and understand how to worship God in obedience, God blesses that, his favors upon him. Have a wonderful day.